Alright, you know what time it is? Fuck, it's hard to keep the motivation a little bit. Well, it's not hard to keep the motivation. It's just, it's hard to choose to dev when I started playing Stalker 2, which so far is a fantastic game. Great, fun combat. I've gotten jump scared a bunch of times. It's just solid overall. Like some of my own shit. Get ready to upload. Cool. Cool. Okie doke. Good. Just want to fucking keep on playing Stalker all night, but gotta dev it up, yo. Gotta learn this shit. C plussing. So, at a mysterious place when I was doing covert ops today. Also, I'm figuring out this air hunger shit. I think the only, like, couple things changed. For some reason, sometimes I feel like I need to yawn to get a deep breath. Like, I feel like there's so much more air that I could be getting, and I need it or something like that. It's like, I don't know, it's like I feel like there's a threshold of breathing, and I'm only doing this, and it feels like I should be doing this, and I'm just not getting it. The things that changed: one, I ran out of daily vitamins, so some people think that some deficiencies might be involved. I started running occasionally, but this started before that, so that's not it. I started caffeine as well after, I'm pretty sure. Maybe around the same time, so I think that's not it. I'm gonna keep on doing vitamins now. I got my vitamins. And then, like, there it is. See, I got a super deep breath and I just felt good. Before, that never happened. There's a lot of people with, I don't know, fucking anxiety or some crazy ass shit, and they have these issues, but I don't have any of that shit. But there's just the breathing is something's there, something physiological going on, and I think it's me running out of vitamins for a while because it was a couple weeks after I ran out. Okay. All right. So when I was doing covert ops, we were talking about testing your programs every time you build a piece. So just like in a factory, you test all the individual pieces. In a car factory, you test all the individual pieces, and then you add each one by one. And when you add one, you test it, test the whole picture, and then you add another and you test the whole picture, etc. So everything has been tested individually and cohesively, so that at the very end, when you test the whole thing with all the pieces, it should be good to go. So, another thing is when I was running pretty fast, I got in the habit of mouth breathing too much once I got into a certain intensity, so maybe that's trickling over, but I think it's the vitamin stuff. Okay. Yeah, so we could add a piece of code and then comment out the other shit and test it, or add other stuff that tests it. So like I add in a function that returns some amount, some integer calculation that I need to do, like a function that excuse me a function that returns the distance between the enemy and the player, or the nearest enemy and the player. Well, I probably want to make sure that those values work before testing it in the game, so I just hook it up to a print function and then keep on printing the results to see, yo, does that piece work? And then later on I can test the entire thing. Yeah, so in this case we want to see if something is a lowercase vowel. So we have a switch and we say, hey, for A, E, I, O, or A, E, I, O, and U, we print true through because of fall through. And then anything else, we return false. Like right there, I could have gotten more. That's never happened before, so it's extremely annoying. Okay. Yeah, and then we add a little temporary test to print and test some values, and then we kill it. Yep, so this could be good. Why does that open on the wrong monitor? That's weird. God damn. There's some sort of effect on a piano, on piano notes, and god damn it is satisfying. Yeah, and then you just call the test instead of adding some bullshit and then killing it. Maybe there's some bloat, but then when you compile it should remove this because it hasn't been called. Oh, instead of just automating, meaning in that function printing an error if it fucks up, or doing standard abort and then giving it a code. Instead of saying, oh, it's supposed to print this, let me print and then compare what it did to that. Instead, we just add a condition. Yo, if it prints wrong, or if the result is wrong, or if it didn't behave properly, then do this. Like like you could kill an enemy and then get the velocity of it after it dies to make sure that hey, it stopped moving, or get its rotation. I mean, that's something you would already see in the game, but like when you kill an enemy, you could print whether it's dead or not, and it's pretty obvious it should be dead. And then you could say, hey, if it doesn't print dead, error out or cancel or terminate or something, abort. Gotcha. So it's literally just abort. And that's where asserts probably happen. Dude, this guy Noah is just insane. Oh, like, expected this, but got that. This doesn't feel good. This feels weird. And the point is you could fuck around with his lower value. Or it is a lower value. Vowel, fuck me, is a lower vowel. I never say vowel ever. And then you call this test function to see, hey, is this thing broken? Is A still returning? Or is A still a vowel? Because it should be returning 0. I don't like this. And then if Q isn't returning a vowel, then okay, then we're cool. But if it is, all right. And 1 means that we're not identifying vowels, versus 2 meaning we're doing false positives. Mm-hmm. I don't like this way of saying this. It should be test value, or test vowels test. Result is this, not just test 2 failed. It should be like code 2 or whatever. Because this seems like test vowel test 2 failed? Let me test 2 failed. And I guess you're just returning the one that failed, but just weird. I wish this was more specific. Like say, whatever, if 2 then this or something like this, or incorporating a print in here, something like that. Excuse me. And if the whole point of a test val is to validate this thing, I'd rather have this thing have one purpose, honestly. And maybe it's a helper function, maybe it calls some other function, but this thing, you should be able to call test val and then boom, it should be good. Or you call test val on specific things, but you probably just say, hey, yo, do all the things that we have still work? Does gunfiring work? Does this work? Does this work? You just call all the things instead of all this bullshit in your main function here. I don't like cluttering your main. See assert. See, this is better because we're calling this and we don't have to do anything in here. We just call it. And this should say all tests succeeded and then return 0. It shouldn't just be in main here. Compiled out, meaning this compiles, says, yo, this is dead code because this guy is going to run. We're going to have an error and abort. And I never even touched that. Okay. And in this test, we're just asserting things that need to be true. We're asserting each of the cases, basically. So we're saying, yo, this guy needs to be true. These need to be false. Wait, wasn't that... Oh wait, why is this an int? This needs to be a float, yo. This is where the issue was. And this is because it's not a double. So we can use assert to say, yo, this must be true. Example being like, I don't know, you're checking the clock to make sure that when you're fucking around with the time, let's say you have a game where you can change the clock, well, make it error out if the current time is not within a certain value. And you could have an if statement, or you could have later on like a check time, and maybe it like loops through all the time values to make sure that it's not there or something like that. Or it does specific time manipulations and knows that, hey, it was 24, we added an hour, it's not 25, it's 1 o'clock. But then have a switch case there so that if it turns out to be if the output here is 25, then bop, it's been asserted. If we say the time modification and we add 1 hour, we set the time to 24 and then we add 1 hour, this result equivalency double equals should be 1. If not, then oops. What if I do we'll do, yeah. I mean, we wouldn't really want to return it here, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm making this inline because the passing is annoying here. We want to just assign it the values, the shit. No temporary shit. Or at least in this case, we're just not we're reducing the copying by one time. Maybe. What happens if I comment that out? Damn. Oops. Oh, wow. Oops, we haven't called this. Boom. Cool. I like asserts. And you could just have this in test vowel. Because if I do a test, I would want to know the test is telling me success or failure. Tell me! Don't just fucking return 0. Then I have to say, if test vowel is 0, I gotta remember that, bro. Just run test value is void. Unit testing? Oh, unit meaning the little sub pieces of your program that you're supposed to test before you incorporate the full thing. Like the hubcap or this or that. Does the hubcap bend? No. Good. It passed the test. Then we add it to the car. Then we test. Hey, does it bend under load? Cool. We don't just put it in the car and then test. Because then we have to do that. But then we have to go back, find out where the hubcap shit is, and then test anyway. You may as well have tested it in the beginning. God damn, this music is good, bro. Alright, let me keep reading and then I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing 30. 30 clean. 1, 2, 4, 5. I'm weak. 10 more. 1, 2. Oh, there it is. 30. All right. It's like there's a buffer time with my breathing. Like if I breathe out enough, then I can get a deep breath. It's like I'm used to only letting a couple people out of this closet, and then a couple people back in. So if I want to let a lot of people back in, I gotta let a lot of people out. Interesting. What would that look like? Just something that like a sub program like a little program that has whose main function copies your unit shit over, and you designate it. So like we could have we could have a function here. We'll just pretend that there's a function here that gets time. Or I guess this one would get the time, but we'll just say it's an int, so it shouldn't change. And it said it automates the process of writing and editing those for units too, the whole testing process. So we could have this function that yields time. Cool. But then you could basically do Control K C, and we'll pretend that it pops this guy over, or at least copies this over into some subprogram whose main function is blank. And what it basically does is copies this guy and can either run the shit, or maybe you include the asserts in there somewhere. So like instead of having to write your own little debugs and prints or whatever, you just pass it to something, and then it reads all the local variables and tells you what the results are, and maybe you put in some asserts or something. Not super sure what it would look like, but that's what I think it would be. It would pop stuff over and test it immediately so that you don't have to comment out other stuff in order to run and test your thing. Or you have to put it in another program. And then maybe you can tell it which other units you need to include. Like maybe your function that you just added calls other shit. Well, you don't want to have to go and find that function and find this other shit and then copy paste them all into other thing. And then maybe they work then that way. What if the functions keep depending on each other? Well, if you could figure out a way to like, if something could automatically detect all the shit that is used by this one and include that all and then do the test, that would be sick. Integration testing. Okay. Yeah, so you have the unit test. So you say, okay, here we go. I just made this new hubcap design. Well, what happens when I bust it up? Okay, cool. It works. Well, let's add it to the car. All right, now let's test it on the car. We just integrated it. Now let's test it. Integration testing. Start testing it. Bro, what do you mean? Right after you write it, you write some shit, you compile the shit, and you test it straight away, and then you also test it after. So when should you start testing? What do you mean, like the minute it's fucking done? Yeah, the second you've written it, bro. A non-trivial function? Alright. I don't know about that being the right answer. Like that felt good, dude. It's like a drug breathing in that deeply. I swear I feel like either I didn't want to do that before, I didn't think about it or notice it, or I just couldn't before. Or well, I could, but it was just default before. I don't know. It feels like the former. Like I just never wanted to do it. Like whenever I would yawn, it'd be a super deep breath. Awesome. But Right now I'm just noticing it. It's like I'm functioning at reduced capacity. Oh, motherfucker, bro. I have to cook chicken. Oh, God. I had chicken Alfredo ready, too, man. And I kept playing Stalker 2. And then I smelled some shit that was delicious. And it was just burnt butter and cream. Just blackened and burnt. Oh, God. I make rice in the morning. Let me check what I've got real quick. If I even have chicken that's defrosted. I really don't want to cook the chicken in the morning. I mean, I could. Yeah, fuck it. I guess I'll toss some butter and lemon and shit in a pan in the morning and just have lemon pasta for lunch. Damn, it's fucking annoying. Hmm. So what you could enter different inputs and then have a different percentage of code coverage. Yep. Yeah, because one is greater than zero. And then we assign 0 to 1 and then return 1. Yeah, but if we did 0 1, 0 is not, so we just say return. Oh, we return 1 either way, but I don't like this foo shit. It's kind of irritating. Just say what the shit is doing. Just name it, bro. It's like naming your kid a fucking stupid name. Like what? Like fucking Rabisha. You're like, bro, what? What name is this? Rushibia. Like that would just be a trash name. Or like Dukisius. Like it'd just be a stupid name. Same shit here. Foo? Bro. Yes, it would require 2 because it's either one or the other. Excuse me, yeah, it's basically an if else. True, interesting. Even though we've tested everything, we haven't tested everything in the other settings. So it's like anything with conditions. Yeah, it's where it said every time you add a condition, you increase the, I guess, the complexity multiplicatively. So like, if you have a linear execution flow program, it's perfectly linear, same shit every time. But then you add an if statement, went from having 1 option to 2. Then you add another, well, it probably went from 2 to now 4 because you've got this is true when this is true. This is true when this is false. And then this is false when this is true. And then maybe there's a 4th one there. It's like true, true. Oh, yeah, and then there's false, false, true, 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 false, false, true. So yeah, there actually are 4 options there. So every time you add another one, it gets more complicated. So even though you execute every single statement, we still don't know what the value would be if we do the other version. One of the other versions. Well, yeah, none of them give. You can't get 100% statement coverage here. Like, you would need multiple calls, and then same shit for well, either way, branch and statement are the same here. Because here there's no else. So if this is an else, you couldn't get 100% statement. And this is effectively an else. It's either this or it's this. You can't have a case be true and default. Not to mention you can't return twice. Yep. Well, yeah, because it's else ifs. Rather, it's if, and then there's an else. So if not this, then this, then this, if this, and then if not this, then this. I mean, really, it's if this, then else, and then this is underneath it here, and then this is underneath this here. And yeah, so you would need one for the first if else, but then another for the second, but then another for the else on this statement here. So basically if else, and then within this else, there's if else. So we need to check this guy, and this guy. Does one call test this, another call test this, another call test this. Okay. Meaning run tests that test all the branches. So like, well, can't do a switch, but we could do an if else, so. Cool. So we have the getting the class. And then we could say so we could say warlock and then it outputs warlock. Cool. But then we could have that's fine. But then we have Oops, this should be void. Can't do a switch here because these are not integral values. Ow! These are standard strings. Cool. And then we could make a test. What the fuck happened to my shit? There it is. All right. And we don't even need to get it. We can actually just run. Oh, well, yeah, we could just do a different test. So oh, well, this is a void part. So and now all we're doing is testing. So we tested Warlock. And we could say, in this case, this is void. So it could be The switch cases can't even be that. We could assign them numbers and then do some other stuff, but because this deals with strings here, this is all we can do. We'd have to actually look at the values. But if it wasn't, and we assigned, let's say Warlock is 0, Paladin is 1, and then any other class is more than 1, well then we could just return the correct values. So like, hey, yo, if it's Warlock, do this. If it's this, do this. If it's this, do this. And this could be an int, and then we could return, and then this could just call it, and then get this return value, and then call it again to get this to this, to make sure that this is getting the return value of 0. We could just output it here, and then 1, and then 2. Okay, so get 100% branch coverage. Test all the branches. And if you get 100% branch coverage, then that should mean that you get 100% statement coverage. Because not only have you had all statements execute, you've had all options execute. Loop coverage. Iterates 0, 1, and 2 times. So like, what happens when it quits straight away? What happens in one iteration? Excuse me. And then what happens again after? Okay. Alright, I will continue with this tomorrow. Fuck, I wish that went to another... Well, GG. Okay.